Hey everybody, I just wanted to take a minute and tell you guys about something that just happened to me. For years now, I've been going to the same hair salon, having the same girl cut my hair. It's a hair salon in Omaha, Nebraska called Garbo's. They have about 4 or 5 locations around the city, and I would go to Garbo's Midtown, the Midtown location. Been going there for years, having the same girl cut my hair. She does an amazing job, and it's always been a really good experience. We've never had a problem. I'm a really big tipper. I often buy product, and I've always been a really great client. The last couple of times I needed to get my hair cut, my regular stylist was not available. And so Garbo sent me to one of their other locations to have another stylist cut my hair, which was a guy. And as it turns out, the same guy cut my hair the last 2 times when my other stylist wasn't available. So in the last conversation that I was having with this guy when he cut my hair the last time, he was asking me questions like, what do you do for a living? And I started talking to him about Walkaway and talking a little bit about politics. And we had what I believed was a really nice, reasonable conversation. He made it very clear that he identified as a liberal, that he considered himself a Democrat, and that he did not like Donald Trump. He proceeded to repeat numerous talking points from the left-wing media about Donald Trump, but that's okay. It was fine. I was happy to have the conversation with him, and I thought that we were having a polite and respectful and perfectly cordial conversation. And somewhere in the midst of that conversation, I mentioned to him that I had been arrested in conjunction with January 6th and that I pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct. His response to that was, "Oh, you're the guy." And I sort of laughed and I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, we all heard on the news that somebody from Omaha had been arrested. I guess you're the guy." And I said, "Yeah, I guess I'm the guy." Still, I thought that the conversation was fine and that it ended reasonably, and he gave me a good haircut and I gave him a big tip, and that was that. And I thought that everything was fine. Until yesterday, when I called Garbo's Midtown to try to book an appointment with my stylist because I'm leaving town in a couple of days for an event and I wanted to get my hair cut. They told me that she had 3 openings available, and I asked if I could take the later of the 3. When the receptionist was trying to book my appointment into the system, she said to me, "That's odd, it won't let me book your haircut." And almost immediately, I felt like I knew exactly what was going on. She put me on hold for a few minutes, and then she got back and she said, "I'm sorry, Brandon, you are not allowed to book an appointment with Garbo's at any Garbo's location for the rest of your life." She said, "Your account is permanently restricted." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "I don't know. I don't have that information." And I said, "Well, I'm going to need to talk to your manager." So she put me on hold for a few minutes, and she came back, and she told me, "My manager's with a client, and she actually can't take your phone call right now. Maybe she can call you later in the day." And I said, "Yeah, please have your manager call me. I really need to get an explanation about what happened because I've never had a problem with you guys. I've always been a good client, always been a good tipper, always bought product. So I really need to understand why this is happening." She said, "All right, I'll tell the manager to give you a call later in the day." So I waited hours and hours before I called back again to tell them I had not been called back by the manager. And this is what happened next. So you're telling me that I'm essentially banned from any Garbo salon. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I have been told by my management.
Okay, cool. Could you, please ask her, just tell her I'll be expecting her to call me back, that I'm not going to rely on the email. I would like her to call me so we could discuss it.
So usually if a client is like fired from Garbo's, the manager, like the salon manager, has not really saying that. It's usually our owner, and that email is going to go directly to our owner. So if you want to just reach out that way, that would probably be quicker, because Darcy usually checks her email pretty frequently. And like I said, Allie's double booked with colors all day. She's really busy.
No, it's okay. I'm not in a hurry. So it's not a matter of needing a quick answer. I would just like to talk to your manager. So please ask her to call me today.
I have asked her, but that's just what she told me. So that's all I can really do for you. I'm sorry.
Okay, so is this? It sounds like you're telling me she's not going to call me.
I'm pretty sure that since you are now like a banned client, that I don't think that you're on her priority list. I'm sorry.
So I did email info@garbo.Salon.com, and needless to say, I didn't get a response, and I don't expect that I ever will. But I don't need to, because I know what's going on. We all know what's going on. And certainly, if you're somebody who's had the grave misfortune of being entangled into the government's narrative of January 6th, you know exactly what's going on. I think it's fair to say that the managers and stylists of Garbo salons, their various locations, probably don't know the full criminal history of all of their clients. They don't know if they have clients who are convicted felons. They don't know if they have clients who have committed domestic violence or fraud or violent crimes of any kind, possibly even murder. Perhaps any of these stylists have convicted murderers as clients. How would they know? But the truth is, none of that really matters anyway, because they have no interest in a person's criminal history, unless that person was arrested in conjunction with January 6th. And in that case, it doesn't matter that, in my case, I never entered the building on January 6th. I didn't engage in any violence, any vandalism, any theft, or any destruction of any kind. I stood outside of the building for 8 minutes shooting a video, and I pled guilty to a misdemeanor charge, a Class B misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct. But because that Class B misdemeanor charge is in conjunction with January 6th, it is now considered socially acceptable to ban me, to cancel me, or to prevent me from being able to receive goods and services like a normal member of society. If this shocks you, congratulations, you're normal. It should. But the fact of the matter is, despite that I have a large social media following or years of media influence, most people will probably never even talk about this story, because most right-wing media outlets and most right-wing personalities with a blue check mark next to their name who consider themselves conservative influencers who stand up to leftist tyranny, most of them will never talk about this, because they're too afraid, despite all of their platitudes about fighting the left, they're too afraid to stand up for somebody who is being brutalized and destroyed by the left, because they have a misdemeanor charge for standing outside of the Capitol on January 6th. But they should care, and you should care, everyone should care, because what's happening here is the normalization of social credit scores right here in the United States. When we get to a point in society where it is socially acceptable to prevent people from being able to send and receive money, from being able to have bank accounts or be on social media, from being able to get haircuts because of a 2.5-year-old misdemeanor charge, at that point, social credit scores aren't some fantasy ramification of some dystopian future. For me, social credit scores are already here. And perhaps you'll tell yourself, well, that's too bad for you, but you know what? I didn't go to the Capitol. I didn't go to D.C. on January 6th. What does this have to do with me? Well, trust me, your day is coming, because very soon you won't even have to be alleged to have committed a crime to be treated this way. Because very soon it will be deemed okay to consider somebody a dangerous individual, just based off of the lies and misinformation that are created by the left. And if that dangerous individual happens to run for president, and you happen to vote for that dangerous individual, that makes you a dangerous individual too. That makes you a potential terrorist. That makes you a potential threat. And that makes you unworthy of the social credit that makes it possible for you to send and receive money or have a bank account or be allowed to have a bank mortgage loan or a student loan. I was convicted of a Class B misdemeanor charge in conjunction with January 6th. And that means nobody will stand up for me. Nobody will speak out for me. Nobody will come to my defense. But your day is coming. And when it does, I hope there's somebody left to speak for you.